And my first guest this week joins me in studio. Dean Janes is the CEO of a company called Imaging 3 Incorporated. Dean, always good to see you.
Thanks for having me, Don.
Well, we were talking about this at the top of the show when I was doing the monologue about how when people undergo an MRI, they're put into this tiny little tube. It's very claustrophobic,
Right.
all kinds of noise. Takes a couple, 3 days to get your results.
Right.
Your device, which is pending FDA approval, is called a Dominion, and it basically does everything in real time, correct?
Right, it's a 3D imaging scanner. It scans the body in 360 degrees every 0.2 to 0.8 of a second, takes those images and puts it into a 3D construct, and then updates it again every 0.2 to 0.8 of a second. It's, as you said, has a big bore hole. It's a mobile device, fits through a regular room door, and plugs into regular wall power.
Well, it's amazing that you should mention just that, because we're looking at pictures of it right now, and you actually brought that right into the studio.
Right.
We shot some footage of that. It rolled right in through the front door, plugged it into a regular 110 wall socket. We didn't have to take out a wall. So that kind of portability, that kind of mobility must be very attractive to your potential end clients, which are healthcare facilities.
Well, absolutely, because it increases their ROI because they can use it within the facility anywhere. It's mobile, doesn't use some exotic form of power or need a build out, it's not in a fixed room. So it can be used throughout the facility, in the OR, for part of the day, into the interventional labs later on in the day.
I would have to think too that there'd be a market for this, like in sports stadiums,
Right.
and where you see a guy get injured or something and they want to get him into an MRI or some kind of scan immediately, and this is doing it in real time. I mean, I was looking at those pictures, and here's the skeletal mass being looked at as you're doing the test.
Well, right, and you can scan any part of the body instantly in 3 dimensions, so you don't have to reposition. And if you've ever broken a bone, having them reposition your broken hand or foot or whatever, it's very painful. This way they can just set it down and scan around it and show those images instantaneously.
The whole thing sounds so Star Trek-ish, to use a movie that's out right now. But I mean, basically, I would imagine that a surgeon could use your device involved in a very delicate surgical procedure and actually be able to see what he or she is operating on screen without having to go through, even arthroscopic. I mean, it just seems to me there's a lot of advantages there.
Well, absolutely. We're in 3 dimensions. Why can't our imaging be? Instead of having to reposition around the patient to get a different view of a different angle, you get to see the patient in 360 degrees in 3 dimensions in real time. So it'll guide them through minimally invasive surgical techniques or delicate procedures where they need to be able to see around certain parts of the anatomy.
Dean, I've joked on this program before where you're the only guest I allow on the show that keeps his cell phone turned on. I mean, that's kind of a rule here. Get on the show, turn off your cell phone, but you're waiting literally for a phone call. Could come any minute, any day, next week, next month, from the Food and Drug Administration saying that you've been approved. Do you have any updates for us on that?
Well, we've made great progress. I mean, it can happen tomorrow, it can happen in a month from today. It's hard to say, really. It's the federal government, they work on their own time frame, but we have made significant progress. It's difficult when we don't really have a device that we could actually compare to. We're comparing it to multiple devices, so it's a little tougher than a standard product or product filing with the FDA, where you just compare it to what's existing in the marketplace.
That's interesting. So you literally are trying to compare apples and oranges and getting them to approve that based on that kind of criteria.
Well, right. The technology is similar, but it's just that we are taking it to the probably 10 steps ahead of everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once again, the company is Imaging 3. If you'd like to see some remarkable images, go to their website, Imaging 3. That's imaging3.com. Dean, you promised me when you learn, we'll be the first you get called.
You will be.
Or maybe
Thanks.
the second. Maybe his wife first and then somebody.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.